President Trump's executive order on refugees and immigration causing a lot of controversy this morning, especially among religious communities. Speaking in support of the president, Franklin Graham says, quote, "It's not a biblical command for the country to let everyone in who wants to come. That's not a Bible issue," end quote. And on the other side, the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops says, quote, "By helping to resettle the most vulnerable, we are living out our Christian faith as Jesus has challenged us to do," end quote. So, is it unchristian to ban refugees? Here to weigh in this morning for a healthy debate, Father Jonathan Morris, Fox News religion contributor, and Pastor Robert Jeffress, Senior Baptist at First Baptist Dallas, a member of President Trump's Faith Advisory Council, and a Fox News contributor. Father Jonathan Morris, I want to start with you. You heard what we heard from Catholics saying it is unchristian, that we should welcome in those who are the most vulnerable. Is this unchristian to ban these individuals?
I would also agree, well, I certainly agree with that statement that it is Christian to welcome in those who are fleeing persecution, no doubt. I would also agree with Reverend Franklin Graham. And I believe Reverend Jeffress as well, that it's not a responsibility of a country to just let anybody in who wants to come in. In fact, it's just the opposite. It's a responsibility to make sure that the levels of immigration are both safe and sustainable.
So, well, Pastor Jeffress, so you heard Father John there. What
Yes.
about these individuals coming from Syria, to Father's point, to welcome in those most vulnerable from a war-torn country? Under this policy, would that still happen?
Well, President Trump is exactly right in giving preference to persecuted minorities, which would be Christians coming from Syria. Look, under the Obama administration, only 0.5% of Syrian refugees were Christians. And the fact is, according to a recent study, Christianity is the most persecuted religion in the world today. 90,000 Christians were slaughtered last year. And another study said 9 of the 10 top nations persecuting Christians were Muslim-majority nations. And so I think the president is exactly on target in righting this wrong created under the Obama administration of discriminating against Christians.
Pastor Jeffress, I think one thing is to say that Christians are, by doubt, the most persecuted religious group in the world right now. No doubt, I agree with you. But then to go to say, therefore, President Trump is 100% right in this order, I think is a mistake. Let me tell you why. I'm in total agreement that there can be a time for a temporary ban in some countries. If those countries are unable to vet their people, or if we're unable to vet them. The mistake, I think, was, and I hope it's changed, is to make an indefinite ban in Syria for refugees. That was the mistake, and it's a mistake because all sorts of misinformation about it is created by Hollywood and others, saying it's a Muslim ban. It's not, but saying it's an indefinite ban instead of a temporary ban like in other countries.
Well, Father Jonathan, let me just say, I think that's what you're going to see, that it is going to be temporary until we're able to vet these people more carefully. And I think you would agree with me that some people need more scrutiny than others. Let's face it, a 25-year-old Muslim male trying to enter this country from Iraq ought to be looked at more carefully than an 85-year-old Episcopalian grandmother coming from Great Britain. That only makes sense, and I think that's what the president is saying in this study.
Well, then he should say that, I think. You know, listen, Pastor Jeffress and I agree on so many things, but I think it's very important to, if it's going to be a temporary ban, call it a temporary ban. Don't call it an indefinite ban. And then, to your point, Pastor Jeffress, very good, but what about the children? So why doesn't Trump do an awesome thing and create adoption possibilities for children who are fleeing from persecution? That would be a way to go.
Pastor Jeffress, final word.
Father, yeah, look, I think you're going to see all of that unfold in the days ahead. But to put a bigger bow on this, America will never be great again until America is safe again. That's what the president is doing. He's fulfilling his God-given responsibility to protect this country. That's something every American and certainly every Christian should be applauding.
Gentlemen, we got to leave it there. Thanks so much. We appreciate it, Father John.
Thank you.
And Father Robert Jeffress.